Hello, everybody. I am Cole McHenry here, joined by Joe Cardali. As always, today we're going to be talking about the recent introduction into EPL Team One. We're going to be talking with Malds here, the champions of MDL Season 13. How you doing today, man?
Really good. Just finished some practices today.
Alrighty, nice. Yeah, they go well. Everything good.
Yeah, all good.
Good. Awesome. I've got a couple of questions for you just to kick things off. I kind of wanted to talk about the finals. You guys didn't really struggle at all versus, anybody, and specifically showed some dominance over the Whalers. You finished with a undefeated record. You haven't dropped a single map in playoffs. But speaking specifically on the Whalers, because I feel like that was kind of your closest competition. You guys dismantled them in a pretty easy fashion. So I wanted to ask what kind of your expectations were going into that match, and like where were your confidence levels at? Because you had already taken them down once.
Yeah, to be honest, like on myself, I actually thought it was gonna be like a tougher match
Yeah.
because I've seen a lot of matches of them and I know they're pretty good. And yeah, I thought there was gonna be like more maps played in the finals or something like that, but it didn't go like that. But I'm anyway happy because that happened that we managed to get the final in a easy way.
Yeah. I kind of like wanted to look over at Mirage because you guys got a nice you guys kind of like were playing from behind at the start. You know, they got that early lead, and at like on the second half kicked in, and you guys just nonstop were kicking them down. So were you at all worried about Mirage because it was a map that they were able to take you down on previously in the regular season?
Yeah, to be honest, I was. When we started losing, I thought we were gonna lose that map
Yeah.
because I'm kind of negative on some aspects. And yeah, we managed to come back that map, and yeah, it's a map that I like a lot, and that's what I'm known for. Like I'm a Puckstar Mirage,
Yeah.
so I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, you definitely played well. For sure. You have any
Malbs definitely don't. Oh,
you
sorry.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Malbs definitely don't want to take anything away from you guys. Congratulations on the win against Pro League. However, we have seen now there's been some changes and news in the Whalers camp. Do you think that may have kind of played into kind of this like turn down in form that we've seen from them, not just in MDL but also in some events leading up to that?
Yeah, I think it kind of did because they had to play with Boovie in I don't remember what event it was. I think it was
New
IM New
York?
York.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, they had to play with them, and then playing with Bilwells, and now that Bilwell's left, now they gotta play with Fang, and that's some things that should not happen.
Yeah. I was interested to see that kind of like all come to fruition as BUL's kind of made his exit. I wasn't sure if that was kind of known by the team beforehand or what the case was, but it definitely like felt like a different kind of Whalers than we saw when they were playing with Boo at the or Booby at the IEM New York event. I was surprised to see um and them kind of collapse in the finals.
Well, even in the Mustache Masters, right? Like, obviously not a super serious event,
Hmm.
but you definitely would have expected them to be, in that final,
Oh yeah.
and that was not the case there. So that was a bit of a shock.
Oh yeah. That surprised me as well. I again like I wonder like I feel like a lot of it came down to like losing the org, which I mean that kind of is a lot of stress to deal with already. I'm not sure what their like future looks like. I mean, I think it just got announced like yesterday that they'd been dropped. So I feel like it was just wrong time. But then again, like yeah, you guys did play very well, and being able to take them down in that fashion was pretty impressive.
Thank you.
I do have a question about season 34 though, the training season, because that was kind of my first introduction to you guys as a team. I casted you all, I believe, first time in the I think it was the CS Summit qualifiers, and I didn't like have much of a read on you guys just because you guys were kind of like last season struggling in MDL, I'd say. could have probably been lack of motivation. You know, there's not much reward in a training season, but what was the difference between last season and this season? What would you say like the biggest differences?
Yeah, they were like not on the greatest mood because of TRK leaving the team, and of course they weren't expecting that much of me because of my language and stuff, and like they were looking to replace me after some time to get another Brazilian to play with them, but yeah, I actually thought it wasn't gonna work that well. That worked with us, you know,
Yeah.
and I had to learn Portuguese to play with them. Like I've been in a rough situation, kind of,
Mhm.
I will say. And but yeah, I think it was all about languages, not practicing because they weren't in a great mood, and that's all I think.
Was there like a, so you mentioned that you thought it wasn't going to work out. Was there like a specific point where that kind of turned around for like your tenure with the team, or was it just like the Portuguese thing that kind of got figured out?
Yeah, it is all because of the Portuguese because I wasn't like performing really well because I was struggling while communicating. So
Mhm.
it was something that I wasn't like able to focus on my game while thinking what to say, you know, or what
Yeah.
words to use.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I mean, from your history, right? Almost all of your teams have been communicating in Spanish, right? I think you've pugged it out some in English teams, but all Spanish, right? So that's a bit of a shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyways, I always wanted to make a move to leave Latin America. So I was expecting to join a team like English speaking, but I had to learn Portuguese then.
Yeah.
Life throws curveballs at us sometimes.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be your second season of Pro League, right? Because you were
Third.
there third, right? Because you were there
Yeah.
with Infinity. Um, do you hopefully this time around, third time will be the charm, as opposed to the the earlier attempts? Or I mean, do you feel more confident now with some experience, or like with the team, or anything different?
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna go further, way further, because as everyone may know, in Latin America, there's not that much of experiences and like that. And with Team One, I learned a lot. Like I didn't know much of like pro MDL stuff, and
Mhm.
with them, I learned a lot. They taught me a lot of things, and I'm really comfortable playing with them.
So for next season, what are your expectations there? Because it does seem like some of the like MDL, or I'm sorry, EPL teams that you're going to be going up against aren't going to be the same sort of core. There's going to be a lot of like fresh teams. So like, what expectations do you all have for your first season as Team One in EPL?
We're gonna do better than we have been doing this time because we're gonna be preparing a lot. Like we're looking really further to grow a lot more as a team in this time period that we got. And yeah, I think we're gonna be like a way better team.
Okay. So,
When
oh, you got something? You go ahead
Yeah,
there.
when you're talking about like preparation, I mean, obviously you guys are still pretty fresh off of the MDL win, but are you guys doing anything like different kind of heading into obviously you have Pro League on the calendar, you have Dreamhack on the calendar. Like, are you doing anything different when it comes to prep uh versus what you were doing for MDL?
Yeah, we are checking our game styles and we're like watching a lot of demos together, playing a lot of scrims, and yeah, like we're really looking to get into that tier one barrier, you know,
Mhm.
like break that one. And yeah, I think it's gonna work out with the demo reviews and GameStop. Like, how can I say it? Like this tile that we got as a team, we can kind of improve it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like with the introduction to EPL has been like getting practices and like scrims been any easier now that you guys have that like spot officially, or is it about the same? Because I know there's limited options, like very limited in NA at the moment, with who you can practice.
Yeah, that's something kind of rough because there's not like many EPL teams that we can scrim against. Like Liquid, no, Evil Genesis was in Europe and that kind of stuff. And there's like we gotta scrim like MDL teams, or sometimes we gotta scrim lower teams,
Yeah.
and that could be like a struggle for us. But we're gonna do our best and improve anyway.
Yeah, I mean, good news is that EG is no longer going to Europe, so at least you'll
Ah,
have that option for you.
Yeah. Are there any like lower tier teams like sub MDL that have surprised you scrimming when you guys have scrimmed them?
I don't really remember. I don't think so.
Fair.
Kind of what I figured, but you
Yeah.
gotta ask.
I kind of want to move on into talking about IM Beijing, which just finished up probably yesterday. I can't even remember. Days are so relevant. But Chaos, they take the win 3-1 over Triumph, and I just want to kind of ask a couple of questions from your side of the story playing these teams. What do you think kind of went into Liquid and EG's kind of collapse in this tournament and allowed for that sort of finals to even take place?
To be honest, I don't really know. Like, I don't like to watch pro matches, but I think like people don't expect that much of like lower NA teams like
Yeah,
Triumph or Chaos, and I don't know why. Like everyone in those teams are like incredibly talented. Like actually, sometimes I'm scared to pick like, for example, Sheppa or
yeah,
Junior. Like, like they're actually insane, you know.
right.
So I don't know why they expect less than they are, you know. Like they're pretty good, and I know they can beat them in any time.
Yeah, that actually brings up a really good point because even though that's the case, I feel like I mean now we're finally gonna see Chaos like get their opportunity. I'm not certain on that because again, like COVID is such a like X factor in the season, but I'm really excited to see if Chaos get their opportunity to show that on like a world stage, how like good and beneficial that would be for them in the long run, because like that's kind of your test as a team going over to Europe and seeing how you can kind of hold together as a mold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess like a question that I have for you, Malbs, is like, do you think that the result that we saw in IAM Beijing, like, is that a manifestation of like the online era, or do you think that like kind of that gap at the top is narrowing, or is it like impossible to tell either way at this point?
I think it could be impossible because there's some points that anyway in online is like hard. Like I know Janji is living in Canada and the ping is
Hmm.
way different than the other ones, you know? Like, because an example
Yeah.
on me too. Like I'm playing with 70 ping, and also Janji is, I think, and it's kind of hard to play in top tier events against good teams with that kind
Hmm.
of ping.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Like we everyone kind of, especially when we're talking about NA, like we kind of tend to think of it as like one like very closely knit situation, but like even if you look at the US, like it's wider than Europe, right? And like that's a region that's split in half with EU and CIS for like most purposes. So that's definitely an interesting point. You mentioned like Zeppa and Peyton, or Junior rather, uh, and those are two people who also may be on the move, switching teams, shortly. So good segue potentially.
Yeah. So I've heard rumors of Zeppa, but is that kind of a deal that's been made public? Like,
Well, I think it looks like Furia have looked into several like North American players. But
Yeah.
nothing is confirmed at this point. But I mean, like, this kind of goes back to our earlier point. Like, Malbs is probably like the perfect person to talk about how well he thinks this can move, right? Because those teams would be dealing with a language barrier, right? Like the same that we're seeing EA Gaming like deal with right
Yeah.
now. So, I mean, Malbs, do you think it's just a case where like you know the team and like the players have to have the right mindset and know that it's going to be like rough sledding for a few months, but then like once you get over that hump, it's like a very workable situation?
Yeah, I think that's what it helped us. Like, I was always in a positive mindset of like, yeah, and like I knew at first that it wasn't gonna work out because of the language, but anyway, I wanted to learn because I wanted to play with them because like they got a lot of experience and I liked them a lot. So I thought it was a great opportunity for me to actually give more of my part and actually learn a new language. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, it wasn't just for the game. Like it actually helps you in like in real life. You know, learning another language could help you a lot in
Yeah.
any case.
I mean, you already know 3 times more languages than
Yeah.
I do, so I
It's
mean,
so
you have
impressive.
a leg up on me
Yeah.
there. I'm actually curious. So obviously, like you left Infinity like somewhere in like April or May, and like I guess at the time you didn't really know what was next. Did you have like any other opportunities on the table before the one thing kind of came around? Also, I guess I'm curious. Like, are you what's this? Are you contracted to one right now? Because, like, as far as I know, you were standing in, but I assume since then it's become a little bit more official. Or, yeah, wide-ranging question.
I don't know which one to answer first, but I'm gonna answer the team one first.
Yeah.
And no, I'm still like a stand-in.
Hmm.
I haven't signed a contract yet, but I
Okay.
think I'm gonna be signed like in a short period of time.
Okay.
And when I left Infinity, I got a lot of offers that were from Advanced, and as of my potential, I knew that I wasn't like I didn't want to play Advanced, you know, like I was
Mm-hmm.
looking to play like MDL Plus. So I rejected them all, and then Maluki messaged me on Twitter to play with them, like 1 or 2 weeks, and then this whole COVID thing happened, and they had to stay with me, and I had to learn the Portuguese thing, and yeah. But when I left Infinity, I had my mind to join an NA team, like at least MDL bottom team, but an NA team from
Mm-hmm.
MDL. But yeah, the team one thing happened, and I'm happy here.
Yeah, you're in Pro League now. I'd say so.
Yeah.
So not a single other MDL team reached out to you. It was all advanced.
There was a team that messaged me, but it was just for a pugging team, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want to play like that. It was like a wasting of time for me, and I
Hmm.
wanted to do my best on a team and practice and grow together as a team, you know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think great call. It seems to have worked out thus far. So keep trusting your instincts.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a good call now that you're in APL, and I imagine that contract is on its way too. Um, I do now want to kind of move on to rosters being dropped in NA, at least from their organizations. We're seeing quite a bit of it, and I feel like it's all been just like hit at a wave. Like yesterday was one of the worst news days that we've had, since probably the the coaching scandal, which I mean it wasn't that long ago, but just compounding. Um, Now we have the Whalers, who I believe first and third team at a free agency, and now have kind of released the team. Um, there's plenty of reasons behind that one, both for the team sake and the organizer, but also chaos. There's rumors that they were dropping their team. That was even before the success at IEM Beijing. So I kind of want to ask, do you think that at all played a part in Chaos's performance there? Like, are they trying to prove something their org, try and hold on for just a little bit longer?
I think I kind of know them, and I definitely think it kind of helped for like a motivation thing
Yeah,
to keep looking for an org or to chaos keeping them
yeah.
or
Try and find
something.
a new one.
Yeah, but I think that's some like it has always happened. Like you have some examples like Bad News Bears or Soul Patrol.
Mhm.
Like they're kind of top teams in NA that could proven some things out of NA, and they never got picked up and actually wasted talents.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it hurts to see that sometimes, like especially Soul Patrol last season. I feel like there's such little being asked, and I guess it was this season even, wasn't it, that they forfeited such little being asked, and unfortunately, there's just I guess it wasn't enough, to get an org.
Yeah.
Um, and also we've got Triumph, some issues going on there. I think it was Junior, uh, either being rumored to leave, or I think it's actually confirmed now that he's out, and Moose as well, who's gone. So I feel like just three teams that need some huge players. So I'm wondering, who do
Wait,
you have any?
is that confirmed with Junior? Did that just happen?
Let me
I
actually
don't
check.
I don't think that's been confirmed
That's not
yet.
I don't
confirmed.
think so. No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, so Triumph confirmed
Moose is
Moose is
out.
out today, and they've brought in B Wills right from Whalers. But there hasn't been a further update there yet. Um, just to go back to like the chaos thing real quick, right? Like or even the Whalers, right? Like it's not like these teams are being dropped for underperforming. They're being dropped just because of like the economic reality
Yeah,
of the current situation, right? Um, like CS, if depending on like if you follow like some of the people that tweet more about like the business side of the stuff, like someone like a Lurpus,
hmm,
or like a bunch of team owners, like CS is a loss leader, right? It's like one of the most expensive esports to house a team in, and the returns on the investment are like almost the
yeah,
lowest, right? Um, so it's just hard to, especially in the environment that we're in right now, to like just justify throwing money in a dumpster.
yeah.
Essentially, like it's certainly no disrespect to any of the players on Chaos and Whalers. They definitely prove that they're good players and they deserve to be where they are. It's just that like the dollars and cents don't add up at this point, and it's obviously very
It's so
unfortunate.
tough. Yeah, it's tough to see. It's just the time that we live in right now.
Yeah, we're gonna, the CS space will be there'll be less memes going around with if when Chaos make their exit, if that actually
Yeah,
is to
I
happen.
know.
But I guess we have Triumph to, fill that void. So
Oh yeah.
didn't want to cut you off there. My bad.
No, no, no. That's a good point, because I do feel like I kind of, did kind of throw shade to organizers there at some point, but yeah, the like sense that goes into having a team, it's so expensive. Especially when like there's nice cushy opportunities in other esports that shall not be named. Um,
The V word.
but
I mean, did you ever consider making a switch over that way, Malbs, or was that not really an option for you?
At first, I was actually thinking of switching because I was playing with Kristen, my Gutamalan friend from Infinity.
Hmm.
I was playing a lot of Valorant with. Oh, I said it. Sorry.
Yeah.
so
Get
good.
out.
Yeah, I was playing a lot of them, and we were kind of making a team from Guatemala with like old school players from here that were pretty good and
Hmm.
1.6 and stuff. And we were all like thinking about switching and making it like a god tier team in Latin America, but
Mhm.
it all it all didn't work out, Cruzen went to Infinity for that game, and
Right.
yeah, I knew that it wasn't gonna work out for me because I don't like that game.
Yeah, that's a good reason not to switch over.
I think it was KMZ who he like took a spin in Valorant for a month or so ago, and then came back and loudly proclaimed that game is ass. So
Well,
I mean,
Vanity said I don't want to play that fucking cartoon game on the ESL broadcast the other day, so at least I think that was his quote. Maybe there was a lack of profanity in there, but I did feel that.
you felt like it was implied.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. If it wasn't for the family show, I'm sure there would have been some passion in that statement.
yeah. Yeah, again, Malbs, I think you like brought up something that I'd love to dig deeper on. Like you brought up like the concept of like these old school 1.6 Guatemalan players, and like to a lot of people watching this, like they'll like not even know that there's a concept of like old school Guatemalan players. Like you yourself, like your first recorded events are like back in 2016, right? For like the World Championship in WESG. Um, but then like there's like some big gaps in there. So like I would love to just for you to like talk about like the process and the struggles of like kind of like making it out of like some of these lesser known regions with like less infrastructure.
It has been a really hard way for me. Like I had to go through a lot of Latin American teams, and things weren't going well. And at first I was thinking about retiring sometimes. Like I went through some points that I didn't want to play anymore, but I had my friends like telling me that I am really good and that I had to keep playing that stuff. So I like believed in them, and I started grinding on my own. Then I got picked by Full Send, like at start of the 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got signed by Infinity, and after some time on Infinity, things weren't working that well. There was a lot of toxicity and that stuff, and I just asked to bench myself, and that's when I actually got here to be asked by Maluki to join them. That's all. I just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we kind of saw like this whole story arc when like the Brazilian teams first started coming to an A, and like they kind of like had this chip on their shoulder, and like they had everything to play for because like if they didn't win, they would be sent back home at some point. Like is do you feel like there's still some of that going on with like you and team one right now?
I didn't understand that question. Could you repeat, please?
Yeah, so like when we first saw Brazilian teams coming over to North America, like uh there was just like kind of like this like will and desire to win, right? Because like unlike the North American teams, like it's not like if they lose, like this is home and they can just do whatever. Like there's like more kind of on the line for them. Do you think that is still like is that the case for you? Like personally?
Ah, I get it. Yeah. Like from Brazilians, I know that they got a lot of passion for the game. Like every single Brazilian I've known or I've met, they're really passionate at the game. And for myself, it's kind of the same. Like I have been playing this game since I'm a kid, literally like 10 years ago or 11,
Mm.
since 1.6, and I've loved the game and I like to play it. So yeah, it's all like Brazilian passion and Guatemalan passion all together, and I think that's how it works out with us.
Mm-hmm. Would you say there was too much passion in like Full Send and Infinity? Like, you had like the Guatemalan passion, some Peruvian passion, some Colombian passion. Too much?
Yeah, the guys got a lot of passion too, but things were like I always said this, and they never accepted it. Like they started getting an ego, and they stopped like grinding on their own. I will
Uh-huh.
say, and that's when all the toxicity thing happened. Like in every single practice, we were screaming between us and stuff. Like, it was an environment that wasn't like good for a team, you know, and that's what I will say that broke us up.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah.
I kind of want to end on talking about MDL relegations, which is probably something that you don't, worry too much about, as that's not going to play a factor with you at all. But there's a couple of teams that have a potential of making it, and honestly, I don't know what the MDL teams currently look like that are heading into relegation, such as like Imperium, who I believe Carter J and Q's had just stepped down, so that's two players on Imperium that aren't going to be playing. That I'm not sure that they'll be able to. I'm sure they'll try and recover with the core, but it's going to be tough to find gaps to fill in, and especially succeed at a tournament, uh, in that sort of
Well,
scenario.
I don't think they have a choice, right? Like it's the same as we've seen with Kinship. Like the rosters are locked for relegation, so
Oh,
like regardless of whether people are planning on stepping away afterwards, like if it's kind of like if they don't play for relegation, then that's an automatic loss in
okay. So
relegation.
you have to play with the five, or at least whoever's on your roster at the moment.
Whoever is on your ESA roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
So
that's kind
yeah,
of a last dance then. And that's gonna be tough. But is there any? I guess we kind of covered this earlier. But is there any kind of teams that you're looking to see make the come up and kind of fill in the gaps of the current like MDL competition?
I don't really follow advanced that much, but definitely, yeah, gaming.
Okay.
And to be honest, I was expecting Infinity to like get on
Play.
relegation at least, because like they're my friends and I know them, and
Yeah.
like I know they're pretty good individually sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
But
I've I've seen a couple of games of them in advance, and like it does seem like sometimes they just destroy their competition because it is advanced and they have so much experience on that team. And I was surprised that they didn't make it to relegation
yeah,
as well.
so yeah, to be honest, I just know about and there was like a no, they lost, I think, or nah, I don't know. ESG9, I think it was the
Yeah.
team.
yeah,
GSG9 lost to, yeah, but they're the only team that was able to take a map off them so far. At least one map.
yeah, they're still alive in the lower bracket. We have so yeah and GGPR in the upper bracket, and then GSG9 and Rise in the lower bracket. GSG9 took out oh no, Rise took out Ocean and
Yeah.
Kakona, the SKDC
Yeah.
boys.
That
So
game was thrilling to watch.
oh, you were casting that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was man, I was rooting for SKDC beforehand, unbiased caster, but and just watching that last map, I thought they had it on train. I was so surprised.
Fetally, I don't know if you saw that. I think Fetally like sent out a tweet, or someone from Rise sent out a tweet of like Fetally in matches like with big like muscles, and like the rest of his team like little tiny like midgets,
Yeah.
like the team
Bro,
effort.
that clutch, he got like a 1v4 clutch, and it
Right.
literally won the first map. Like, economy changed the game. Like, yeah, that round was. He said, I think in a tweet, that it was one of the biggest rounds of his life. So, big shout out to Fideli, man. Congratulations. I believe that secures him a spot in relegation. I think it's like
Yes.
fifth. There's one player in fifth through six. According to HLTV, but
Yeah.
I don't know how
So
much they know.
yeah, that will be depending on what ESEA does, right?
Yeah.
So like the first team will go to MDL, teams 2, 3, 4 will definitely have relegation spots, and then the fifth place team may have a relegation spot if someone doesn't get invited.
Okay.
Uh, which we have like previously talked about on the show, like maybe Pain
Yeah.
could be an option there. But ESEA are usually like pretty
Cryptic.
stingy with that. Well, cryptic for sure, but stingy as well with that invite.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I thought that train was like the map of that series, right? Because that started off with what, like an 07 run for Rise, and then like
Yeah,
SKDC took
8,
like
7
a
half.
a tech pause and like came back
It was
8 on the way.
Simphus
Crazy.
who got a 1v3, and then they won out the half. Yeah.
That's just experience there.
Oh
That's
yeah.
all that is.
And then they lost like 10-16, so it wasn't enough.
Counter-Strike is a cruel mistress. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else on this topic, Cole, but I'd love to like talk more about like some of the upcoming, well, I guess the one upcoming event that Team One have, which is Dreamhack Masters Winter, right? Is that correct? I think so.
Yes, sounds right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, what are your guys' expectations going to that? Obviously, coming off like a pretty big result in MDL, but now like obviously some, you know, a higher percentage of killers in the this 18 field that you're going to be playing in, and I believe your first match is going to be against so that's perfect.
Uh, yeah. Matches against Zero Gaming has always been like really close matches. Like they know how we play, we know how they play, and it's like always a good match to watch and obviously to play. And yeah, we're always looking to get the wins, and we're looking forward to win the event because we think we can actually win it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's all.
Do you feel like looking at the groups, do you feel like you got kind of like the easier side of the coin, or do you not like look at things that way? You just kind of take them for what they are and go ahead. Because I mean, like you look at Group A, you got Triumph and Chaos in there, and then I think you guys are probably at this point the clear favorites in Group B with you guys. Yeah, Whalers who have been making a change, and then Mythic, right? So
Yeah, to be honest, whenever the tournaments announce the groups, I always like I think I'm the first to watch the groups because I want to know who I'm gonna be playing against, you know?
yeah,
And when I saw the groups and I saw the teams, I actually sent a photo to the WhatsApp group with the team, and I was like, "Yeah, we got this," you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys got a decent little coin flip. Chaos and Triumph are on the other side. I'm wondering about Rugrats here though, because it was announced that Fang at least was stepping in for B Wells. So that leaves him with like what, 2 players? Cobra
he's in
and
with Rezu and
yeah.
Cobra, yeah.
So
And I guess you probably have like Sixty in there as well
oh yeah,
potentially, and
yeah.
I don't know who else. I believe the roster lock was today. Mal's would probably know better than I would. But presumably anyone that they're using, they've locked in who that's going to be now. So we'll see. Rugrats are both like the masters of upsetting as well as being upset. Like
Yeah.
they've done a fair amount of both over the past couple of months, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like they shaped out their roster so strong, and then of course Infinite kind of had got his offer for XC9, which that's a great deal. And honestly, that roster excites me a lot. It's a very good replacement for Floppy. Not the same thing, but certainly like he has a high level of play. But losing that now, it does kind of, and now Fang as well, who he was the other player that I kind of watched out for, because that guy destroyed an MDL pretty well. Like he started out on X-Recon 5 or something and would just constantly carrying them with the little wins that they got. And now that he's gone, I like the addition. If the Whalers can hold on to him, but other than that, like I don't. I feel like I'm losing hope pretty fast here with Rugrats now.
Is that just for Rugrats or like all of MDL at this point?
It's all of them. Yeah, I'm so worried about what next season's gonna look like. It honestly is kind of hard to wrap my head around. I guess it's kind of the same vibe last season, though. Because a lot of the same sort of stuff happened, and we still got ourselves a pretty decent season out of it. So I'm sure we'll find our footing here eventually, especially as COVID winds down.
Well,
fingers crossed.
yeah. I'm not on wood. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess Mal, do you have any like Latin American upcomers that we should know about, whether that be players or teams, or Guatemalan even? You know, keep it local.
There's some teams in Latin America that have been kind of sounding. There's like teams like Loto Gaming that went to the Blast qualifier, and of course Infinity and Supremacy Gaming. But the thing is that there has always been a lack of experience in Latin America, and they are always kind of looking to stay in Latin America, and they're not kind of looking to grow much and go further. To as an example, try to make it like way better in Maine. As an example, like Loda Gaming and Supremacy Gaming, they're both in Maine, and they are like they always do like a great performance in regular season, but then they struggle in playoffs. So I think it's kind of lack of preparation, I will say.
Yeah, maybe a map pool issue too, because the best of threes coming into a factor.
Yeah, that could be too.
Interesting. What do you got next, Cole?
I'm glad you threw in talking about Dreamhack Masters winter, because that something that flew under my radar. But that's about all that I have. I do kind of want to ask before I let you go if there's anything you want to shout out though, Maltz.
Obviously, I just want to shout out to our Brazilian fans that has always been supporting us, and it's awesome. Like I had never like that much of support, and then when I joined Team One, and then we started beating like good teams in NA, I got a lot of followers from them, and they were like, "You're good" and stuff, and it's awesome. And obviously, my Latin American followers and like they have always been there, and my friends too. So shout out to everyone that have been like helping me and with all the stuff I've been going through. And yeah, that's all.
You got
So you
anything?
have yet to be on the wrong side of Brazilian death threats. Is that what you're saying? All good so far in the Team One camp? I guess.
Yeah, it's so good. But there's some like European people that send us the death threats.
Oh,
Betters, I assume.
yeah,
Yeah, better.
yeah. Yeah, I see them all the time in Twitch chat, man. They're absolutely wild. Those
Yeah.
Russian betters.
People have too much time on their hands.
Yeah, that's very true. But that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in EPL next season. Be catching some of those games for sure. You got anything, Joe?
No, I just want to thank Malbs for coming on. Congratulations once again on EPL. Good luck in Masters with that easy group. And yeah, I have been following you for a while, so glad to see that you're getting the success that you've been working towards, and I hope that contract arrives in the mail without COVID issues and it's as expected, and everything is good. So that's all I got. Nothing to shout out. Twitter is
Yes.
no
Talking Fanatic, Dust2.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dust
Hit us up
US.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
Also, make sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. You already know. Got that in way late. I thought I was going to do that at the start of the episode, but whatever. Peace out, guys, and we'll be back when there's some more action to talk about. Peace.
Peace.